Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another podcast of the Gospel Rescue Mission. My name is Greg Conley. I will be the host this morning. Today, I will be interviewing Brian Bouteller. He is the Director of Resident Services, and he is going to be giving us all an update on what's going on at the mission with all the fires going around. Thank you for joining us, and let's get into it. So this morning, I am speaking with Brian Bouteller here at the Gospel Rescue Mission, and I have a couple questions I want to ask you, Brian. So, first of all, what are we as the Gospel Rescue Mission doing during this time of crisis with all the fires in Southern Oregon, and what are we basically, what are we responsible for, and what are we doing and willing to do to help the community?
Well, it's a good question, Greg, because it gets asked, perennially, and it gets asked multiple times a year. Obviously, we're Southern Oregonians. We're used to a forest fire, probably, some pretty good forest fires, or bad forest fires, I guess. Every fall, it seems like we're at least every other year, we're plagued with a bit of forest fire conditions, and that causes air quality to be really bad. And everybody becomes concerned about what do we do for the homeless? What do we do for people who maybe are in crisis because their house is burned down? What are we doing in all of those areas? And it's not just then. We get the same kinds of questions when if there's flooding, or and it's raining really bad, or if the weather drops and there's snow on the ground. It seems like every year, whenever it gets cold and freezing, I get asked questions about, well, what are you doing to take care of those who are out there and in need because of the cold or whatever. So what are you doing when there's a crisis? And I kind of try and frame it a couple different ways. One is that we're really not the ministry for disaster. We're not the ministry to go to for community disasters, for local disasters, and all those things. It's not that we don't want to help, and sometimes we do some help. I mean, we can do additional cooking and laundry for other organizations. We can do. We have some small things that we can do, but really the crisis ministry is the job of things like the Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, maybe the local churches. That's where the crisis ministry really comes in for natural disasters, for those perennial things like bad weather, inclement weather, or things of that nature. The mission of the Gospel Rescue Mission is a 365-day-a-year ministry, and our crisis, the crisis that we deal with, is helping people get out of homelessness. And in order for us to do that well, we really have to have all of our resources devoted to that all of the time. We don't have the luxury of diverting those resources to other things, because I never know from day to day how many people are going to be willing to come out of homelessness and want to enter into our program. And some days we don't have anybody check in, and other days we might have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people wanting to check in. And because of that, our commitment is there. It's really, that's where our ministry. So to ask us what are we doing differently is kind of like asking a grocery store, or an attorney's office, or any other business in the community, or any other ministry in the community, what are you doing for emergencies? And they might go, well, I'm not really doing anything, particular. And it's kind of an odd question for us, but we get asked, pretty frequently. We do some minor things, but they're really related to those things that we already do every day. So we cook every day. We do 6,000 to 8,000 hot meals every month, depending on our population and everything. For us to add, another 50 meals onto any given night's dinner or lunch or breakfast or whatever is really not that challenging for us. So when situations come up where we can do something like that, we're happy to do that, and we gladly do those things. But when it comes to taking in folks, right now we're being faced with some of the worst fires that we've seen in Southern Oregon, in the communities in Southern Oregon, in the 40 years that I've lived in Southern Oregon. I've never seen any of our communities hit so hard. Totally recognize that and totally sympathize with and pray for those things. Here's something that we're doing currently. We're working with the Medford mission, the Medford Gospel Rescue Mission. Their women's facility had a very low number of women and children in it, and so what we've done is we're absorbing their women and children from their program. And their rooms are really structured nicely. They're set up kind of like hotel rooms over there, and they are changing their entire women's facility over to to care for displaced people in the Phoenix and Talent area, who are going to be looking for places to stay, need places to take their whole families and stuff, and they're equipped for that there. And so we're helping them do the ministry, which is actually closer to Phoenix and Talent anyways, you know, so we're helping another ministry kind of, assisting in that end. And it doesn't really affect us substantially because we have the room in our population and everything in our facilities to absorb that pretty comfortably. So those kinds of things we do, and we do well. What often we see is organizations kind of over. Everybody wants to pitch in. We've just got such a great community. Grants Pass is amazing. We do. And everybody pitches in, and everybody wants to do something. And of course they think of us because they see us as a help organization, but not recognizing that we're really not an emergency help organization. We're not, and by that I mean we're not like a disaster relief kind of organization. That's more of a Samaritan's Purse job or a Red Cross, and those kinds of things. A lot of the local churches right now, we've got Edgewater Christian Fellowship really just marvelously stepping up. Parkway Christian Center is doing a great job. The fairgrounds, the folks at the fairgrounds are, God bless them. They're just doing such great work out there. And so really what we really need to do is just direct the attention and the energy over there, let them do what they do good, and when they need help, they do it. Right now they're getting so much that we're kind of taking up some of their overflow. So we got 600 pounds at the Rock Food Pantry of fresh produce that couldn't make it to the coast because the roads were shut down for them to get over to the coast because of the fire. So they just diverted it and came here and said, "Hey, can you guys take it?" And like, yeah, we can easily take that for you, and we can distribute it to our regular people in need, every day. And that's what organizations like the Rock Food Pantry or the Gospel Rescue Mission, we are a 365-day-a-year kind of emergency ministry, and we really will do best if we focus on what we do good. We want to focus on getting people out of homelessness because that still needs to happen, even when there's forest fires, and even when the weather gets inclement, and even when the weather's great, and even when everything's going really, really well. Those things happen all year round, and when we focus on what we do and focus on our strength, then we can allow those other organizations to step up and be the strength there. And God bless them. You know, we know we've reached out to them. If there's anything we can do, if there's any need that you have, let us know. If it's within our purview, whether it's delivering, you know, food or you know, helping somebody get with clothing or any of that kind of stuff, we're happy to do so. I know our thrift stores, the Gospel Rescue Mission's thrift stores, which is the Booth Street thrift store on the corner of Foundry and Booth Street, or the Second Chance thrift store on the corner of 6th and J Street. Both of those have already given out a tremendous amount of free clothing and you know, household items and stuff to those who are in need. And we're already, you know, I know that those are the areas where we'll see some of that emergency services kind of picked up. We'll certainly be able to be there for all of them. But that's the extent of it, really. And so when people understand that about us, recognize who we are, recognize who we aren't, and don't be afraid to, you know, tap on those organizations that are doing really good. I think there's a lot of other people that want to jump up and become central hubs and all this stuff. And a lot of times what they do is they create more work for those organizations who are just in the middle of doing everything. Because they want to know schedules and times and what are you open, what's changed, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. And I know COVID, we've experienced, both organizations that I work for the Mission and for the Rock, both were inundated with people wanting to know all these up-to-date minutes of what's happening, what's changing. I'd always encourage people, go to our websites, look there. I'll post everything there. I don't have time to chase down everybody who wants new and current information. It disrupts the already heavy workload that all of our people have in the everyday, mundane. I'm just feeding people and housing people and getting them clothed and getting them going. That's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That's what we do at the Gospel Rescue Mission. So,
if for instance we were to reach a level 3 evacuation here, what would the Gospel Rescue Mission be doing what is our game plan as far as that?
Well, you know, as far as I don't know that there's anything that we could say as a firm game plan. But if it came to a level 3 evacuation, we would really probably assess what we have, and it would depend on what those asking us to evacuate would have for us as far as an escape route. You know, if they said there is a clear, safe place for everybody in this location, we'd probably evacuate. But in Grants Pass, for fires to ravage this far downtown, where we are in the kind of the heart of the community, I got to think that we would probably turn on every fire suppression tool we have, and we'd probably just stay here and hunker down. Yeah. It's hard to say, you know. I mean, it's all situational. We have a very safe facility. We do have good fire suppression, and so we do have, you know, everything is up to date and current here in our facilities. We've got lots of water, you know, all around our facility. We're right next to a creek. We also have lots of irrigation and stuff. So I think that you know, we'd stay here and wing it. You know, it's hard to say, and hopefully, if there was clear emergency, emergency escape needs, I'd love to think that we could just load everybody up and escape. We'd comply with whatever the law asked us to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got for you, Brian. Thank you so much. And I want to give you an opportunity to close with, do you remember the Bible verse you told me the other day in the meeting, Psalms?
So let me share something with you, Greg, that I found was really helpful for me in my heart. It was a reminder because this was read just a couple of days after the attack on September 11th. And I had listened to it as it was recorded on that day, and I just found my heart taking great courage from it, and I want to share it with you and with our audience, because it is a psalm that really speaks to the times of trouble, when you're facing times of trouble. This is a Psalm of David, Psalm 27. It says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evildoers assail me and eat up my flesh, my adversaries and my foes, it is they who stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war rise against me, yet I will be confident. One thing I have asked of the Lord, and that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For he will hide me in the shelter in the day of trouble. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. He will lift me high upon a rock. And now my head shall be lifted up above all my enemies all around me. And I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing and make melody to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry out loud. Be gracious to me and answer me. You have said, seek my face, and my heart says to you, your face, Lord, do I seek. Hide not your face from me. Turn not your servant away in anger. O you who have been my help, cast me not off, forsake me not. O God of my salvation, for my father and my mother have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me in. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path, because of my enemies. Give me not up to the will of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, and they breathe out violence. I believe that I shall look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong. Let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord.
Amen.
Amen. You know, that really is what we need right now. We need to be reminded to wait for the Lord and to take courage. That the Lord hears us when we cry. That the Lord understands our troubles, but that he's not distant and far away. He's not ignoring us. He's paying attention. And that he will save, not just in the sweet by and by, but now in the land of the living. And that's really important. So I hope that that's encouraging to anybody who would be listening. And thanks for taking the time to hear us today. And God bless you. We'll see you next time.
Well, that does it for another podcast for the Gospel Rescue Mission here in Grants Pass. If you guys liked what you heard, go ahead and click the like button and the share button. Get us out to all your friends on Facebook. Let the world know what we do here at the Gospel Rescue Mission here in Grants Pass. For more information, please visit our website at www.grantspassmission.org. We thank you all for your support and your donations, and have a blessed day.